Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to yet another episode of The Draw Step. So, Commander's got to be probably one of the most popular formats when it comes to Magic the Gathering. That's the one that I always enjoy playing. But have you ever found yourself thinking, wow, these games take freaking forever? Or better yet, have you ever looked at a Planeswalker and thought, holy cow, this would be so busted if I could use this as a commander? Well, that is where the great format of Oathbreaker comes in. This format, I believe it was created by fans, by players, and then Wizards of the Coast did finally accept it and make it in an actual format. I personally just got into it a couple weeks ago, so in this video, I want to break down exactly the rules of the format, how to play, and why I think it could be the next big hit. So, starting out, what makes it different from Commander? First and foremost, as I alluded to earlier, instead of using a legendary creature as your commander, you are using a planeswalker for your commander. So you are a little bit more limited in the options that you have of who you can helm your deck with, but it does open up a lot more opportunities because there are some incredibly strong planeswalkers out there, and a lot of really unique interactions that you don't normally get to have in a deck. Because a lot of times, even when you have a commander that is a planeswalker, there are a few that say, oh, this can be your commander. They very rarely, outside of like a Super Friends deck, and even those are rarely that strong or played that much. Quite often, I find that planeswalkers in Commander are just too clunky or take too long to really get up and running to the point where they are most powerful. So, in this format, highlighting the planeswalker kind of helps speed up and make the deck more powerful because you have the consistency of knowing every time that that planeswalker is right there and available for you. Now, the other thing that is unique about this format is that there's two cards in the command zone, and the second card is called the signature spell. It can be either an instant or sorcery. I would say the best way to think about it would be to compare it to like a partner or a background from Commander. But this, again, like I said, it's an instant or sorcery. It does have to match the color identity of your planeswalker. And I I am going to have some different Oathbreaker decks on the channel a little bit, and you can see some examples of decks that I have put together. But the signature spell, you're typically going to want to try to get something that really meshes well with your Planeswalker and gives you some extra repeated value. You cast it the same just as you would a commander. After the first time, it costs 2 more every time you lay it. And your Planeswalker does have to be on the battlefield in order to cast it. So even if it's an instant, you can cast an instant speed, but your Planeswalker has to be on the table. The other thing that makes it different from the Commander format is that you only have 20 health, so similar to Standard, and that I think helps speed up the game immensely. The problem with 40 health is just you can get somebody playing a life game deck or Pillow Fort, and those games are going to get so drawn out. Everybody is just sitting there forever, and you're almost praying that the combo player pops off just to take you out of your misery. So with this, with the 20 health, it makes things hurt a lot more. It really makes you kind of decide how you want to play things. And then also similar to Standard or some of the other formats is that this is a 60 card singleton format. So you can only have one of each type unless it's specifically says it, like a heir apparent. But with the more limited amount of cards in the deck, it also it forces you to think about your deck building a little bit more, being a little more precise with the cards that you're putting in there. And when it comes to cards that can be in the deck, I wanted to go over the ban list really quickly because it's interesting some of the cards that they have banned here as opposed to what you're normally seeing banned with Commander. So running through the list, first off, they have Ad Nauseam, which really makes sense because the amount of combos that you can pop off with that. Ancestral Recall, Balance, Biorhythm, Black Lotus, Channel, Chaos Orb, Dark Ritual, Doomsday, Emrakul the Eon's Torn. My poor boy. Just quick aside, I love Eldrazi. Free Emrakul. He is hated on in pretty much every format. Let that boy breathe. Anyway, Expropriate, Falling Star, Fastbound, Grizzlebrand, High Tide, Jeweled Lotus, Library of Alexandria, Limited Resources, Lion's Eye Diamond, Mana Crypt, Mana Geyser, Mana Vault, all of the Moxes, except for, I guess, technically the Dragon Mox isn't on there, but I'm sure it will be shortly. Painter's Servant, Natural Order, Primal Surge, Sahili the Gifted, Shahrazad, I don't know, Sundering Titan, Sylvian Primordial, Time Vault, Time Walk, Tanker, Tolarian Academy, Tooth and Nail, Trade Secrets, Upheaval, Vogmoss Bargain, and the one that like pains and breaks my heart the most, Soul Ring. So what you'll notice about that list, and it's part of why I mentioned Soul Ring, I put Soul Ring in every single deck. It's objectively a busted card. 2 for 1. It's a quick turn 1 play. It's incredible. And you'll notice with this, with Soul Ring being banned, all of the Moxes being banned, Dark Ritual, Black Lotus, all, not quite all, most of the fast mana cards are banned in this format. So that does help control the pacing of it a little bit. I think there's a lot of ways to break them too, especially with some of the planeswalkers that work with artifacts. I can see why a Soul Ring would be very busted in this format. But again, it does narrow the scope of your ramp with these decks. You have to be a little bit more fortuitous with it and thought out with how you put your ramp together, but you certainly can still pop off with it. Now, my friends and I, we have played probably a few different weeks. We have a live stream every Saturday, so make sure you check that out, and you can see some of the games we've played. But we have found that these games are normally fast. We're talking 10, 15 minutes. So that does allow you to play more games. And even if you lose, it's not as frustrating as sitting there waiting 30 minutes just for it to be your turn and then just the whole game getting drawn on longer and longer. I personally find that this format, again, I am new to it. I'm just getting into it, but I find that it can be a lot of fun. So I would love to hear from you guys if you've played Oathbreaker before, if it's a format that sounds like fun to you. Let me know in the comments down below. I'm looking for ideas or suggestions on some good planeswalkers that I should build around. You know me. I love making toxic decks. So if you have any combos that you think would make a super toxic Oathbreaker deck, let your boy know, and I will assuredly make a video about it. That being said, again, this was just a quick little video. Wanted to go over the format and see, if there's anybody else out here on YouTube that's playing Oathbreaker. That being said, make sure you check out, we're going to have a deck, my first Oathbreaker deck I have ever built, coming out this Friday, so check that out. Like, subscribe, and I'll see y'all next time.